you're looking at just under 2 pounds of short ribs at $7.99 a pound. I'm going to create my own marinade, let it sit in it overnight, and then I'm going to braise these short ribs in that marinade on the smoker tomorrow. I'm going to show you how, and it's going to be awesome. What we want to do is we want to cut this fat layer off. Like pork ribs, they have that membrane on the bottom of the bone, but we don't need to go to the effort to pull that off because it's on the bottom of the bone. There's not going to be a whole lot that we're going to gain by just pulling that off. However, on the top where the meat is, there's a fat layer running on there. We want to cut that off so that we can get our flavors to penetrate the meat. So with a nice sharp knife, we're going to kind of trim that off of there. Now that we have those nice and trimmed up, we're going to go ahead and put them in a Ziploc bag. We're going to start with a little Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to try to get about 2 tablespoons in here or so. I'm going to go with a little red wine, and it could be a wine of your choice. I'm going with a red blend, and it's going to have a more neutral flavor. I'm aiming for about a cup. And then I'm going to try this sauce right here. This is a Harry and David sauce. It's a steak plum port sauce, and I'm gonna use this whole thing and put this in there. This is gonna be absolutely wonderful. If you smell this or taste this, this is a absolutely great marinade or sauce for something like this. I don't know that I would like it to actually dip steak in or finish a steak in, but for a marinade or something like this, I think it's perfect. And then this is just salt, pepper, and a little bit of Stubbs steak seasoning. And a couple tablespoons of that. And we're going to zip it up. And keep air in there for now because I'm going to kind of toss this around, mix everything up. There is one last thing we want to add. We want to add a little bit of beef broth. You want to add maybe half cup or so. And that's just to keep those beef flavors. Once you get it all mixed up, then you're going to want to go ahead and squeeze the air out of this. Even better if you have a vacuum sealer, you can squeeze the air out and just kind of let it marinate overnight. I'd let it sit for 24 or 48 hours. The more time you let it sit, the better. I have the Rec Tec fired up at 245 degrees. I have the extreme smoke function on. I'm not going to use the extreme smoker tube because I'm only going to be cooking them for about 2 hours or so before I cover them in a pan. We do not want to lose any of the liquid. We're just going to pull them out of the bag, put them on the grill, and then we're going to sprinkle a little more seasoning on them. Got my water pan. We're gonna go bone down. Now we're gonna put our salt, pepper, and our seasoning on top. And this is the same seasoning I put in the bag. It's about 60% salt. It's about 60% pepper, 40% salt, and a little bit of stub steak seasoning. I'm just gonna hit the top of them just a little bit. And that's it. We're gonna go here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're about 2.5 hours in or so, and what we're doing is we're just looking to check on these ribs. I put the pan with the juice that was in the bag, and I added a half cup of water. And now we're looking at the ribs. We're looking at doing this about when the meat starts to soften up just a little bit. We don't want it to be tender. We don't want it to be still really tough. It's that transition, all right? And that's gonna be about 2 to 2.5 hours in at this temperature. So now we're gonna take the ribs, and this time we're gonna cook them bone up. Okay, we're gonna put them in the pan bone up. Get that nice braising liquid all over them for now. Right. Got a lot of smoke flavor on there. Put our pan in the middle of the grill. Then we're going to cover them with foil, nice and tight. Careful, that's going to be hot. And that's going to help us reduce that, and it's going to help those ribs start taking that nice flavor in and start braising them. Make sure that's really tight, guys. And it's going to help bring those flavors together. So we're going to check on it. We're going to check on it again in about another hour and a half. Our short ribs have been in the pan for about 2 hours. So it's time to check them for tenderness. They look done. You can see they're basically trying to fall right off the bone there. So we always cook to tenderness, not temperature. Temperature's right about 200. But the most important thing is the resistance. That one's definitely done. This one's definitely done. That one's close enough. And that one's close enough. They're close enough to call it done. A little over 4 hours, 2 hours on the grill grate smoking them, 2 hours in the pan being braised. And you can see they just came out just wonderful. They're just falling right off the bone here. And that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna kind of finish pulling them right off the bone. I'm gonna try this one right here. Let's see what we have. right down the middle. Let's try a little piece of the short ribs here. Braised, smoked and braised. That is really, really good. And it's the best of both worlds, I think, because you're getting that smoky flavor from where we had it on the pellet smoker just being smoked. But you're also getting that marinating and that braising from the flavors we put into that sauce we were using, that marinade, that braising sauce, and the meat just absorbs that, and it comes through mixed with that smokiness for a very unique and amazing flavor. When probing, you got the right tenderness. You know, that's the trick to making sure your beef is good. And these guys are perfect. You see how juicy those things were. Oh my gosh. They're just amazingly juicy. And the flavor, the plum sauce coming through, that plum steak sauce is just, I mean, it's now deep down into the meat flavor. It's, you know, every bite has some of that in there. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It was a great cook, guys. Turned out absolutely wonderful. I encourage you to give it a shot. Get some of these short ribs. I think you'll be very satisfied. I really appreciate you sticking around to watch the whole video. Check out these other videos over here. You may very well be interested in those also. The inspiration behind the videos is your feedback. And the best way to give me your feedback is to hit the like button down below. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button down below. And you can also leave comments. I can't wait to see you next time.